is ready. See, there's no set of preparing and the camera catching me doing some nonsense with my phone. I am just always ready. Hey, so, end live video already? No. Hello, everyone. Listen, I wasn't going to say anything about this, right? But my great little friend, you remember that Mark Stewart in that movie? Oh my God, what was the name of that movie with Al Pacino? Say hello to my little friend, right? Posted a video of me in a couple of groups doing slow motion against the speed bag up there. And somebody said something stupid about every now and then I was bending my wrist, right? So I was like, I was just going to leave it alone. But you know what? I don't like stupid comments. And I don't like people to come to stupid conclusions when they know nothing. All right, now, Andrew Adams and I disagree, right? He says, gee, they are stupid people. See, I would never call people stupid, right? I would say it's stupid comments because they have no freaking education in fight IQ. I'm going to end on the cement bag outside. So stick around. This is going to be less than 5, maybe 7 minutes. So what I was doing, very carefully as I roll my little roller over here, right? I was hitting the bag. I had the camera in slow motion. And what you saw was my wrist every now and then do that, right? Instead of just doing that. So they saw this sometimes, see how the wrist bent, and then they may have seen the wrist bent coming back out, and they concluded, no, that's not how you throw a punch. Listen to me. When you are used to percussive striking, like, let me show you, why is my screen suddenly gone dark? When you are used to percussive striking, like, oh my God, right here, this camera, right there we go, like that, right, and like that, yeah, I can strike properly, you know, right, and like that, and like that, and that's all you know, then of course that's going to look funky to you. But do you think that those types of strikes are going to help you? If, see this chair here? You are sitting down at a bus stop? You think it's going to help you if you're sitting down in a restaurant and somebody comes attack you? That you're going to be able to throw a hook and a back fist and a straight jab and do any damage? No, because you need leverage for those types of shots. You need the body to talk, you need the whole waist to move, but you're sitting down. This type of striking I was doing, I was never going to post about it because it's the advanced part of TCF. But I do it to remind myself of how I actually strike when I'm moving. Empty hand, without a glove on. And if you want to know what the advanced part of the art looks like, I'm not going to go into details, right? Because my wife said I'm giving away too much for free. But if you want to know what it looks like, right? At the strike, I need something hard, something really hard. Like I have several hard things that I use. See this little thing here? See this here? This is filled with sand. It's like somebody's head, right? Because sometimes when you're sitting down, you have no leverage, or sometimes you're standing up and you're falling back. When you see us do this strike, and we bend, if you are sitting here in this garage or watching me, and I do that next to your face, you will hear this whole thing go vroom, like a whip. Because what happens is because you don't have the lower body to accentuate and get your power, we get the additional power if we have to be on one foot or if we're sitting down by leveraging the elbow and by leveraging the wrist at the end to create an extra whip. So that if we're on one foot, that's what you're seeing. You come put your head right here. If we're on one foot, boom! That's what you are seeing. And you see those Indian clubs and all that equipment over there? There is a whole bunch of exercises that just goes with us exercising how to do that, to strengthen that. You know why? Because even for you percussive fighters, you know why a lot of times you break your hands? You know why? Because the muscles from here to here are the most ignored muscles to develop. And at the end of any strike, whether it's one on one foot, whether it's one falling back, whether it's one if I'm bending my wrist at the end to get the extra whip, because I don't have my legs on the ground. My leg is actually up in the air if you watch the mirror. That's where you get the extra leverage from. It's an advanced part of the art so that I can be freaking sitting down to dinner or a bus stop and some clown comes over here and says something stupid to my wife, right? And I do that. Or I let one finger out like that. I have the leverage of this, which makes up for not having any waist or feet. I have the extra whip of the bend of the wrist. Man, you do not want to be at the end of those strikes. Does that make sense now? So before I go outside and finish with, and if you want to see, I'll show you just a little bit. So when we are working that particular technique, and I'm moving and striking, it's like that, like that, like that, like that. See it? Like that. It's the same action. 1, 2, 3. Right hand, left hand, and under, and under. Because I am replicating this move. See if you can hear this. If you can hear that, ask anyone who's been in my presence. Right? That lock of the forearm, the lock of the wrist, so that even if I'm here, boom, and I'm falling backwards, somebody rushes me and I'm falling backwards, I can do that. They will hit the floor and you will go, what the hell happened? He was backing up on one foot. Because I understood the leverage of the body, feeling it right here. The leverage of the body, the snap of the wrist, the lock of the forearm. And I can whip that in any direction I want. I can be on one foot, as I said, and do that. You want to be at the end of one of these? You're looking at my bent wrist from a classical point of view. Oh, he doesn't have his body down, his feet are not twisting or whatever the case is, and his wrist is bending. Have you ever been in a fight? Have you ever seen a fight with people stumbling all over the place? You ever been in a situation sitting down and somebody come and try to do something and you think your right cross and your left cross and your back fist and your jab is going to work? You have another thought coming. So for all those people over there in your percussive striking and that friggin' art that you guys do, and you figure the back fist and the jab and all that stuff is going to work if you're sitting down, and I can do this lying down on the ground. That's why we break the coconuts. That's what we're trying to demonstrate. We are trying to give you a high fight IQ. Do you see when we break the coconuts, how I'm breaking them on my knee? I'm kneeling down on my knees. Or my teacher breaks them lying down on his stomach on the ground and does this. If you look at it in slow motion, that's what he's doing. That's your skull. From any angle. From any angle. Without needing any part of the body or relationship to the ground. Lying down. That's why we kneel down when we break the coconuts like that, or sometimes I'll hold it in my hand, boom, and smash it like that without that leverage. God, people, wake up. And have you ever wondered? A lot of people talk about karate and how it's like this, and they only have the reverse punch, and they can take care of them. Most karatekas can take many people in many of those, electric type of systems. You know why? You ever watch them closely? Right? See this makiwara right here? Boy, I love the way I can roll this thing around. Look at this. See this makiwara right here? Right? Do you actually think, why is this thing like that? Where's my makiwara? Let me come over here a little bit. There we go. Can you see this? Right. If you look at them when they're hitting this, they are not hitting it like that. And you look at them, look at me carefully, let me get out of the light. They're not hitting it like that with the flat of their fist. If you look at them when they strike, because they know how to strike empty hand first before they put gloves on. So when you look at them strike, you see the alignment. The wrist is slightly bent because they want the alignment of those two knuckles. You ever been on the receiving end of one of those strikes? I have. I've fought people in backyards who do only that system. So I'm going to finish off now on my favorite thing that I love when people come out here. Oh, by the way, as you notice when I hit Doc with that, I don't like to do that anymore because the last guy wasn't Rodney. Rodney's a great student, and that was another person decades ago. And he asked me, same thing, to hit him. Let me get some better light in here. Let's move over here, maybe like that. Like that, so we see the bag, right? There we go. So he asked me to hit him, and he didn't believe me. So we put 2 phone books on, and I hit him, and I broke 3 of his ribs, sent him straight to the hospital. That's when I said, I'm never going to do it again. But the most important part is that we can do it in action while moving. That's the beauty of it. I'm going to finish off on this bag. This is where it matters. Do you think you can come here and take your hand and not bend it and do that? What is wrong with people? Is it because you only know the percussive way of striking and like there is no other? If you look carefully and you slow this down when you see me working on this bag, look at what you see. I have to do this slightly to align those 2 knuckles up. You come here and you hit this thing flat fist, you're going to break the 5th metacarpal down and your wrist. I'm telling you. This is the coming to Jesus moment when they come here. This bag, because it's like cement. So you have to hit it right. You have to line those 2 knuckles up right. So when you see that slight bend now, that's what you're seeing. It's not that. Look at the bag now. You can see the imprint of the 2 knuckles. The only way you get that is to have that slight bend. And that's why we can do that on 1 foot. Because everything on this bag, it's about, see that right there? See the angle I went in on, right? Because I have the wrist and I know how to use the wrist properly. So I can wrist it, palm it. But the most important part is that right there, right? Boom! See the point? Boom! You don't want to be at the end of those strikes, baby. I hope that makes sense. Let me see if I have any comments up in here before I go, if I have any questions. I love this stuff, man. But I just like educating people beyond what they think they know. They think they know so much in all these damn groups. You don't. You're brought up on percussive striking. That's all you know. Until you come to the TCF garage, the holy grail, as they say, and you experience it, as Dwight Wood said, for yourself. G, he always says they'll never get it unless they come here. And I don't bite. I invite people to come, not to fight them. You think I'm going to touch you? I'm not going to touch you. Unless you ask something through the phone book, like, Doc, I'm still not going to do that again.
Paul,
Love you,
Sunday
Doc.
can't be modified.
Oh, stop.
Since you're not the organizer.
To me.
I found this on the web.
Okay. Oh, my Lord, she's talking to me. Okay. Let me see comments. Dale in the house from Florida. Hey, Dale. Hey, Ron. Wow. Comments. All right, let me see if I can get some of the comments. Kendall, watching. Mark. Wada. Hey, Mark. Satish, I'm going to move to California one day, and I'm going to come back to the church as a disciple. Do you understand what I'm saying, Satish? Right? Does anybody have any questions before I go? Because I'm about to sign out here. Woo! You got me worked up. Thank goodness I worked out already. So this is going to be part of my second workout. Somebody's asking, what's that? It's a cross to remind you it's danger. But before I go, are you clear now? So that sometimes, now you understand, oh, I may not be able to do it, but now I understand when I see G, yes, do something like that, rather than just that. And you're probably saying, what's the difference? One had, as if I was on 1 foot, where I had no leverage, because I can't be on 1 foot, I'm going to pick my foot up and do that. And the other one is your typical percussive type striking. Both feet on the ground, boom, and I use that. The same snap, right? Or sometimes you may see that, like that. Now you understand what you're seeing. It's a reminder to me of the advanced system that we don't set in front of people and go boom, 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 like that. That we are flying through the air sometimes, boom, like that. The ball didn't even have time to come back because of how snappy that was. Right? And then let me move over here. So once you understand that part, my next subject is going to be, somebody posted something recently about, I'm going to work on speed on one day and power the next. What nonsense are they talking about? Do I have to correct everybody? Speed on one day, power on the next? Is it separated? Woo, don't get me started on that. Right? But anyway, and then when I'm on something heavy like this, like that, now you understand when I do that. Now you understand when I do that, like that. So you think this is the most effective way, sometimes they say, to throw a hook? You have no idea what the hook is like in the advanced animal systems. Because that rotation of the elbow, this wrist, and that foot, if you can look at the mirror, picked up as I'm moving, like that, across your face. Dudes, woo! And then the ability to hit this thing and then come back and then hit it from all angles, from anywhere, underneath, over, across. And then I see all this percussive nonsense online, and back fist, and oh, come on. It's like, are they still stuck in those Neanderthal days? Woo! All right. Very enlightened. Definitely was school. Okay, guys. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. Any more questions? Feel free to ask. I hope that's clear. Mark, did I make it clear? Yeah, whoever else. Yeah, no, I got out of that group, so he'll probably never see it. He wasn't following me anyway. He just made that comment because Mark posted it. But a lot of people liked it. They understood. They didn't quite understand. But at least Mark asked the sensible questions. He dialed me up. Gee, talk to me about this stuff. On a video. That's what people do. That's what you do to learn. Woo! Mwah! Love you all. Bye.